All right, these notes will go into your your HBS course file. It's probably one of the first things that we're putting in our HBS course file. So just a little bit of information about organ systems and primary, secondary organ systems, how they're labeled in a disease or a disorder. Your PBS course file has the little inserts that are in there that talk about the different organ systems and the organs involved and the main function of those organ systems. So this has to do with primary and secondary affected. Primary organ system that's affected, it is the organ system that is most directly affected by whatever disease or dysfunction that the person has. Primary affected, most directly affected by disease and dysfunction. The secondary organ system affected is kind of thought of as collateral damage. So these are organ systems that are affected due to the dysfunction of the primary organ system that's affected. So when this one shuts down or when this one's not working correctly, what are the other organ systems that work in conjunction with it that they are now affected? So for example, we talked about diabetes and PBS. So let's say type 1 diabetes. An individual with type 1 diabetes, usually it's an early onset. They're usually younger individuals. These are individuals who cannot produce insulin, and so their sugar can't make it into their cells in order to go through ATP production and create energy for those cells. All right? So for type 1 diabetes, the primary organ system that's affected is the endocrine system, because the pancreas is an organ of the endocrine system, and type 1 diabetes usually affects the cells of the pancreas where insulin is produced. So, organ system that is primary affected would be the endocrine system. The organ mainly affected would be the pancreas. This organ system working in conjunction with others is going to have that collateral damage. It's going to have that kind of domino effect. So, secondary organ systems that might be affected by this disease, your cardiovascular system. So in the cardiovascular system, if you have more sugar in your blood, we talked about that kind of thickening the blood. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it changes the consistency, the viscosity of the blood, and that can increase your blood pressure. So the heart has to work harder. The heart having to work harder also puts more pressure on the blood vessels themselves. So more pressure on the blood vessels, that might end up being a problem with the nervous system. There might be neuropathy, the neurons, the nerves in the eyes might have an issue in your retina, and so that's where blindness comes in, neuropathy. You can't feel your extremities, so if you get a wound there, then you don't notice that, and that wound ends up becoming greater and greater problem. You could end up having sepsis for that or losing that limb. So cardiovascular, nervous systems, these are systems that would be secondary affected by the disease, where the primary affected would be the endocrine system because the pancreas. We can even say that maybe a secondary system affected might be the urinary system. The blood vessels in the kidneys are also under a lot of stress, and they might be destroyed even. And so that would lead to kidney disease. But notice nowhere in here are we saying that either primary affected or secondary affected is the digestive system. We do think of the digestive system in conjunction with diabetes, but when you have diabetes, your digestive system is still doing what it's supposed to do. It's still breaking down that food, putting the sugar in the blood. It's just you don't have the insulin to get that glucose into the cells where it belongs.